Have you ever had one of those moments where you looked around at the business that you worked so hard to build and quietly wondered, why doesn't this feel like success anymore? Well, my guest today knows exactly what that feels like. She spent years building a successful business, working 14-hour days, believing that if she just pushed a little bit harder, eventually life would get easier. Instead, her marriage began to suffer. Her business wasn't as profitable as she thought. And the very thing that she'd built freedom for had become a prison. Today, she helps entrepreneurs build businesses that aren't sacrificing the life that they're trying to create. So, Linnea, when did you realize that business was running you instead of the other way around?
Oh, the exact moment I'm going to tell you is when I came home from work after, 14-hour days in a row. And my husband told me that my business was running me, essentially. He's the one who's like, hey, you're working a lot. I don't ever see you. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I guess I should probably do something about this. And so that was actually the moment. So kudos to my husband for saying what he needed to say.
And you were fairly newly married at the point, right?
Yeah. We got married in 2019 and this was 2021.
Sheesh, 2 years in. Welcome to the Leverage Lounge, where we believe leverage isn't about working less. It's about building the business that gives you the freedom to live the life you actually want. I'm Mike Collier, and today we're joined by business strategist, coach, and the founder of the systems-driven CEO, Lynea Carver. Linnea, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I think social media has conditioned us to see everyone's highlight reel. But the stories that actually change us usually happen before anybody's ever paying attention. So let's start there. Like before the coaching, before the systems, before the entrepreneur that everybody knows today, who was Lynea Carver?
Well, even before entrepreneurship, I actually had a career in corporate America for 20 some years. I had this dream at one point, like I'd worked my way up through the corporate chain, and I had a dream that I would retire from corporate America by the time I was 40. So I worked my butt off to be able to actually make that happen. And I stepped into real estate when I was 39 years old, right before I hit 40. So finally did it.
Great time to make a career change.
Yeah. I was like, I'm going to do it before I'm 40, and literally made it work. I stepped out of corporate America, February 7th of 2020. And I turned 40 that year.
Wow.
So did I turn 40 that year? No, I was already 40, but I had already told them I was leaving. So I didn't actually make it leaving before 40, but I turned 40 in 2019.
But you at least, you put your notice in before 40. Yeah. All right, there we go.
They knew I was leaving before 40.
They knew you were leaving. I'm out. Hey, you once shared that you worked 18 straight 14-hour days, something like that. Take us back. Like, what was happening in your life at that point?
Well, do you remember 2021 in real estate?
Yeah. It's pretty busy.
2020 and 2021. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was me. The thing is, like, I had read Tony Robbins' book, Money Master the Game. Have you read that one?
Great book. Yes.
Fantastic book. Best money book I've ever read. It changed my life. And one thing that I had done, I did the whole exercises in there, like how much money do you need to make to live the life you want? And I had come up with a number of like $500 extra a month. And my mom had been in real estate industry my entire life. So I grew up with this in my blood. I mean, literally, they were building a house in the womb when I was in the womb. So it's like, literally, I was born into real estate. And she had always been trying to convince me to get my license. Always. I finally did after I read Tony Robbins' Money Master the Game in 2018. And then I got in, didn't have anything go for 6 months, but it was fine because I had a corporate job and, was not that worried about it, but I still just really wanted to try it. Sold my first house January 29th of 2019. And then I just got the bug. I was like, oh, something happened. Like something happened. It just felt to like totally click. And then all of a sudden, like I had to get out of a poor corporate moment. Finally did. And then I just went all in because I don't know if you gather this about me.
You're not a toe in the water kind of girl.
No, I'm not a toe in the water person. It takes me a while to like make the decision. But once I've made the decision, I am all in, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, knees deep, heads first, like, let's go, right? I had sold 35 homes as a solo agent. I had made the top 1.5% here in my state, in my Washington. I'd made the top 1.5% here. And I was like, just go, 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 go. What I don't tell a lot of people, and I don't think I've told this story enough, is that 35 homes, that 18 hours a day, that was all due to working with buyers. So I sold that many homes working with buyers in the worst time in most recent real estate history to work with buyers. And that's pretty much what happened.
But was there a moment where you realized, even before your husband was like, babe, this ain't it, like these hours, I never see you. Was there a moment where you realized like, man, this isn't sustainable? Like, what am I going to do? Sell 70 homes next year and then 100 homes next year, right? Like, when did you realize like, I don't think this is healthy? Or did you realize that?
Yeah. I mean, I had the thoughts, but I kept trying to like, when you're like having a lot of success and you're seeing all the wins, it's like, it's okay. It's okay. You justify it.
It'll work itself out.
Yeah, it's going to work itself out. So I had like, that was actually funny. That year I had said, okay, next year I'm going to do 50 homes. And like, I'm sorry. I don't know how I ever thought I was going to sell 50 homes a year, because I had a coach who was all about selling. I sell 100 homes a year. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, how do you sell 100 houses a year? How do you do that? But yeah, so there definitely was the moment, the little person in my head telling me to slow down, but I just kept pushing through it. And looking back, it wasn't the healthiest thing to do, but that's what I did.
What would you say was the biggest lie that you believed during that time about success?
That this is how you do it. This is what real estate's all about. This is the only way to be successful, is to just work like this forever.
Listen, I have a feeling that there are people who are watching or listening right now who are living that exact lie.
Yeah. And it was interesting because my husband had even said, like, I think he saw it too. He kind of saw me starting to get the, and he was like, so are you at the point now where you are wanting to keep staying in the game, or are you wanting to teach the game? He knows me really well, obviously. And so one of the things he's always known about me is I like to teach. I like to lead. He was just kind of preemptively putting that in my head.
Just pointing, just planting that seed.
Planting the seed. When, are you ready now? Are you ready now? I think he probably asked me like 2 or 3 times before I finally was like, okay, I'm done being in the game now.
I love it. So one thing I hear all the time is like, if I just had more leads, if I just hired another assistant, or if I just made more money. But you've even said that more isn't always the answer.
No.
Right? So talk to us. Why won't more leads fix a broken business?
Well, I actually did believe that. These are some things that I had been told that I believed, like all marketing is good marketing, all business is good business, all visibility is good visibility, right? Like all of these things.
Yeah.
And so because I believe that, and I was getting rewarded for it, because I made really good money. Like I made really good money. So like I was getting rewarded, but ultimately, I think what happened is I wasn't actually paying attention to what I was keeping. And so what happens is if you think that more leads is what's going to solve your problem, you can go ahead and get all the more leads that you want. But if you just have a bunch of leads coming in that you can't actually follow through with, that you can't actually convert because you don't have the right things in place, you're just throwing money, you're throwing spaghetti at a wall, and maybe one of them is going to stick. And that's actually what happened. Is I realized that when I looked at my P&L statement around the same time this all happened, I looked at my profit and loss and I was like, well, I made some really good money this year. I made, close to $500,000. That's not bad for second or third year in real estate. Pretty good money. But my negative, I reported negative to, was it 37,000 or something that year, which was like, where am I spending all my money?
It was coming in, but it was going out. Like, where'd the money go?
Yeah,
right?
That's the thing is like when you're at that point, when you're just so busy, like you just don't think about all the other things that are important to be sustainable. It's not just my energy and my health. It's like, oh, I didn't even have time to look at my own money. I didn't have time to like give it the respect that it deserves. And so, it was coming in, but it was just going out just as quick. And I didn't even allow myself time to like have good money energy and just like sit and like thank you and just be grateful for the money that was coming in because I was so busy.
The truth is a lot of people don't need more leads. They just need better conversion. Like
100%.
if you converted at a higher level of what was coming in, then you actually would find that you may not even need more leads, but you can fix the conversion problem first and then get more leads, because that way you'll make that much more money and it just makes sense. But let me ask you,
that's what I did. That's what I did, though. Did I tell you this?
No.
So basically, after this whole burnout moment, the year of 2021 happened, I burned down my whole business. I was like, you know what? I got to do something differently. And I cut off all of my lead generation. I cut off all of my marketing. I cut off everything. And I was like, you know what? I've got to just rebuild this from the ground up. And so I did. And I actually did what you just said right there was I got rid of all the people in my database, all the people that were like sitting in the fence there that I just didn't want to work with. And I actually just started like rebuilding the right systems around the people that I wanted in my business. And that's what actually got me to get to the point where it's like I learned real fast how to actually like position myself in a way to the market that demanded a premium for my services. So it became, rather than just me trying to be like every other real estate agent trying to go and do a customary 2.5% to 3% for all my deals, I learned how to double that in some cases. I learned how to actually get more from each client, and not by like doing anything other than positioning myself the right way and understanding like this is how you run a business. You can go to Nordstrom or you can go to JCPenney, and they're going to be very different experiences for both.
Right.
You're going to get the same sort of material, clothes. They have the same product, but it's a matter of how does Nordstrom position itself versus how does JCPenney's position itself. And that's kind of the model that I took when I rebuilt, was like, I don't actually need more. I actually tripled my profit the following year, and it did it with 18 homes. So it went from 35 to 18, and I tripled my profit.
That's the direction that I ascribe to. I'm not looking to sell 100 homes this year, then 200 homes the next year. I want to double my business. Now I'm selling 400 homes, right? Well, what? Like for me, I mean, unless your goal is to amass this large team, and that's like to each his own. But for me, rather than selling 100 homes per year or 50 homes per year, I'd rather sell 25 homes per year and make the same amount of money, if not more, and have more of my time and be working with the people that want to work with me.
Yes.
Not just
so much more
leads.
fun. Yeah, it's so much more fun. The very first real estate coach I had was Brian Buffini, and his big thing was like, you need 100 people in your database, and that's it. Wow. You need 100 people. That's all you need. And so like after I kind of got away from that and coming to all the like, more, right? I think I had at one point like 7,000 or 8,000 people in my database. And I was like, why do I even have this many people in here? I don't even know who half these people are. So now, I mean, I still sell homes by choice. I like to say this all the time. It's by choice, not by necessity. I have my 11th home of the year closing next week. I have seen one client in person this year, and I have made almost $200,000 without leaving my house to see real estate clients. And so I obviously figured something out.
I like those numbers. What's usually broken when someone first comes to you for coaching?
What I actually think is broken, or what they think is broken?
Well, no. I mean, what are you seeing that's broken in their business when they're coming to you and it's just like, I got all this going on, and maybe they're making a lot of money. Maybe they have a lot of leads. Maybe they have systems, but like there's just stuff. There's chaos. Like, what do you typically see that's broken?
Two things. A, they've overcommitted themselves. They're trying to do too many things at one time. I usually see like most of the people when they're actually like ready to talk to me, because I don't like tout myself as being a lead generation coach or being like a production coach. I tout myself as being more of like a lifestyle coach. Like I want to really help you be the CEO of your life, make better decisions, really treat your business like a business. And so when they're actually ready to talk to me, there's usually a few things going on. They are drowning because they have a business that's gotten them this far, running pretty well into 6 figures, and they don't want to run that way anymore, but they're super scared to like do anything else and put their focus anywhere else, because like everything that they've done has gotten them this sort of income, and now you have a lifestyle that's kind of attached to having this income.
Lifestyle creep.
Yeah. And it's kind of scary. It's scary to be like, hey, I make $200,000, $300,000 a year. Maybe I want to make more. I can't physically manage more, but I want to make more. And so that's kind of why they're coming. It's because they're kind of at this transition period where they want to like move to like what I call the next level thinking. They're ready to move from like being an operator of their business to actually being an owner of their business. So that's really where they're at.
So how do you know when you've built a business versus creating a job for yourself?
I do what I like to call the calendar test. If you go and you look at your calendar for the next week, how does it make you feel if I said, Mike, I want you to cancel literally everything on your calendar?
Oh, don't do me like that.
What's the very first feeling that you have?
A little bit of fear.
Yeah. Why?
That's where my business is. And so if I'm canceling everything, then I want to reschedule it, I guess. But yeah, that's the first thing that comes to my mind.
Right. And that's the very first sign that I tell somebody that you likely have a business that owns you at this point. And I say this because like there was a couple weeks ago, so the World Cup was here in Seattle and the US played their last game here in Seattle.
Yes.
So it's kind of a big deal. I think I told you about this.
Yeah.
But
you guys did the march.
we
You
did the
walked
whole
down to the
march and
stadium.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know how many appointments I had on my calendar that day? Like pre-scheduled that day?
No.
I was booked back to back. And I was like, you know what? I want to do this instead. So I just like texted everyone like, sorry, done, out, either canceling or rescheduling, take your pick. And I sent them my calendar link. And that right there, to me, that's a sign that I own my business. Because
sounds like freedom.
Said 100% freedom. It's 100% like, I don't want to do this today, even though I committed to it. Yeah, I care about my integrity. Of course, I'm not trying to say I'm just that nonchalant about things, but there are times.
Yeah. All the clients who are watching this,
right.
They're like, oh, is that what was going on?
Yeah.
You said that you had a doctor's appointment.
Yeah. No, I don't lie. I'm like, look,
Yeah.
I literally said to people, and that's the other thing too. Like, I didn't have to lie. I was like, look, the World Cup's playing their last game here in Seattle. I'm never going to have an opportunity like this again. I want to live this moment. And it was cool. And I would say like, that's kind of what I tell people is like, that's the first thing to kind of test where your business reliance is it like, if you get massively scared and you cannot do it, well, you're probably a little further back. But if you're like, hey, it scares me, but I could reschedule. You're a little bit further ahead. There's kind of like a different phases of.
Yeah,
of
I can see that. Let's be honest. You talked a little bit about this. The solopreneur is scared to even hire someone.
Mm-hmm.
And then once they get past that hump, as you talked about the different levels.
Yep.
What is one system that every entrepreneur should build before hiring another person?
An onboarding system. Hiring an onboarding system or an onboarding for their client system. Like you should have an onboarding system regardless of what you do, because whether you're going to be a solopreneur forever, like the number one thing that starts to take time is whenever someone signs a new contract. Because every time someone signs a new contract, it causes this like, okay, cool, I got some money coming in, but now I have to stop doing everything I'm doing to actually like get their contract signed, get their payment, get them set up in the system or whatever it is. So that's an easy problem to solve if you just build an automated onboarding system, like what I call zero touch onboarding. So I do it for both people that work for me as well as clients. Literally, it's like we have an agreement. They say, yeah, I'm ready to work with you, whether it be for real estate, whether it be for coaching, whether it be for my revenue share organization, anything. We're ready. Cool. So we send out the agreement or the payment link, whatever comes first, and they do that and blah, blah, blah. Everything's created. Everything from like their Google Drive, collecting their intake form, collecting their headshot, collecting their bio, everything that we need to onboard them. And on the real estate side, everything that we need to get out to them, like the listing agreement. In Washington, we have to give them a copy of the brokerage law packet, and all of that's automated. So like, I don't actually do any of that.
You're
it's
not
just all
actually
automated.
having to send it and
it's all just
click
based
and
off
attach
of
files each
It's based
time.
off of a trigger
Right.
one time. And so those are the things that I think like, if you can get some onboarding systems built, it's going to be so much easier when you bring someone else on, because then that person like can just kind of oversee that onboarding system that's already built. And it's a lot easier to think, okay, now where else in my business do I need to start building?
That makes so much sense. You make it sound so easy. And I guess it's simple. It's not necessarily easy because you have to go through the steps of building it, first of all. But then once it's built, you're just making tweaks. You do have to take the time to build the system for, again, each pillar, right? The buyer, the seller, the agent, the whatever. Okay. Is there something that you've like changed your mind on about in the last year? Like, I don't know, maybe advice that you used to give that you've evolved on since then?
Yeah, I don't know that I would say I've changed my mind, but I've definitely evolved how I feel about AI. ChatGPT kind of first hit the scene, was it a few years ago or whatever?
Yeah.
I was all into ChatGPT and how much I could do faster. And then everyone started using ChatGPT and I was like, ugh, can't stand this. Because it's like now it's like so easy to tell when someone's actually like an
just
original
copy,
writer.
paste. Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I told you this. I was looking for a new VA recently and I went and looked, and I know how to hunt for VAs because I've done it for so long. And so like I knew exactly what I was looking for. And I got this amazing list of like 20 VAs, 20 candidates. The top 3 all had the exact same resume.
Oh my gosh.
Like, oh my God.
Like where they worked and everything?
Like they didn't have like that, the work in there, but like what they do and what they offer, like all of that was
okay.
like all of their
all
credentials. Yes. I was like, so did you guys use the same GPT? Like, is there an actually GPT out there that helps you fill out resume? Probably
VA
is.
GPT.
There
I'll have to ask my
some-
VAs. There probably is
there's-
one.
Yeah, there's probably a VA GPT. But anyway, it was funny. So I've changed my mind on how I feel more about AI. More recently, in the last 4 or 5 months, this year, really, I've gone down AI rabbit holes. I'm a total AI nerd at this point, in the sense that, like, I build AI operational systems. Like, I use Cursor and VS Code to do a lot of my actual like coding of things versus actually using any of the Claude interfaces. And then I actually just did this for a client on Monday. So cool. I actually did an in-person with him, and I built him a 12-agent AI operating system that removed 80% of his work.
80% of his work.
80% of his work.
What in the world was he doing that you were able to remove 80% of what he was doing? This is
Crazy,
an
right?
agent, I presume?
Yeah, crazy, right?
Wow.
First of all, he had 200,000 unread emails in his inbox. And so I'm a big advocate for, like, I have 5 tabs at most ever open. My inbox is pretty much at 0 to 10 at any given time.
I will never show you my desktop.
Yeah, don't, please don't. I am the first to call it out, because I'm like, first of all, neuroscience, okay, you know anything about neuroscience, your brain cannot fire on all cylinders at once. Your brain can fire on like 1 at maximum capacity, and then maybe 2 or 3 secondary filters. So if you have that many tabs open, that literally is like messing up your brain. So there's neuroscience to back that up. So there's that. But anyway, so he had 200,000 unread emails, and I actually built him an agent that actually triages his emails on a schedule every single day. That was one of them. And he was also creating his own flyers. And so I basically like completely agentized his flyers for his marketing campaigns with just like one command, and it's just like there for him. We actually built him a content writing agent who actually like takes his content from, we gave it like 3 different filters we wanted to pull from, like emails that come in, and actually drafts like all of the FAQs that he's getting like in his emails for the last, I think I did like a week or whatever, and it turns it into content that he can actually just automatically post. So click of a button and he posts it.
Awesome.
Yeah, because think about it.
Wait. You're not going to gloss over that. Hold on. So you're saying that you're saying that, like, if a client asks a question via email, or I'm explaining something via email to them personally, and I'm like, hey, here's how that typically happens, and this is why, and whatever, right? You're saying that this system will read that and turn that into content that could be used.
100%. That's where your content is. Like, if you're ever struggling with content, like, people, you just listen, look at what people are asking you or telling you, or, you know,
you're right.
It just, it turns into an FAQ. And so he right now is in this place in his business where he's kind of like transitioning, where he's starting to build leverage in his business, where he wants to like hire some agents to like take over like his residential business while he starts to work on this like senior business. So he wants to start focusing on the senior community. Yeah. And he wants to grow. And so he has so many people coming in all the time asking questions, and he had all these templated emails, which is cool. I like the templates, but Claude can actually respond to your emails for you. We basically build the skill in Claude, grabbing all of the emails that he's personally gone back and responded to, plug that in, and now Claude's brain, his brain is built in there, so he can create content with it. He can respond to emails with it. He can do whatever he wants with it now.
What would be the difference of that and like Fixer AI that also responds?
I have ADHD, and Fixer like made my brain hurt.
Too many tabs.
Yeah, I was like, this is way too many. So like, it's much more controllable with something like Claude. Now, Fixer's cool. Like, I think for a lot of people, love it. Yeah. For me, I'm like, I don't like the color coding. I have my own system, and it completely changed my entire system. And so that's why I built it inside Claude.
Gotcha. All right. Well, hey, I want to ask you some questions.
Okay.
This or that. I'm going to give you 2 options. No wrong answers. Just tell me which one you choose and why. All right?
Okay.
All right. Delegation or automation?
I would say automation and then delegation.
Okay. Why is that?
Because I think that when you can automate most of what you do, it's a lot easier to delegate. Like, if you're trying to delegate someone to go do something, like, can that task be automated? Because if it can, likely can be, because I just told you I automated 80% of someone else's work.
Correct.
Like, 80% of what you do can be automated, and then it's a lot easier to actually delegate what you need to have delegated. Like, you can delegate your vision then. Instead of just delegating a task, you can delegate your vision.
Or like you mentioned earlier in the episode, you build out the skill or whatever it is. You build out the automation, and then you hire somebody to cover that. You delegate that to someone. rather than
Yep.
giving them the individual, here you do, and this is what you do
Yep.
next. I love it.
Yeah, and that's what we did with my VAs is we actually, because I love SOPs, all that stuff, but like we actually don't have to create SOPs the way I used to create them anymore. And so for my own business, built out my AI agents. I have 9 that run my business daily. And now I have 2 VAs that oversee them. And so my relationship with my VAs is even stronger because they're getting so much more done versus me sitting here being frustrated because like most people who have VAs who don't know how to work with VAs get super frustrated thinking they're not doing anything all day. They're like, what are you actually doing? I can't see you. I think I'm paying too much money. Like that's what happens all the time.
Exactly right.
But now it's like my relationship with them is so much better. Like they come to me, they're like, hey, Linnea, we have one agent. His name is Drafting Dex. It was so funny this morning. He was like, Linnea, Dex is being so stubborn. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is Dex doing? He was like, well, I just kept telling him like he's coming back and he's being super sloppy and I don't like the way he sounds and he can't fix him. And so like now the conversation with my VA is like, okay, let me show you how to fix Dex. Let me show you how to train Dex the right way.
And for everyone who's listening, maybe you're following, maybe you're not. Some of you guys are like, are we just talking about an agent who's sloppy? We're talking about an AI agent, right?
Yeah.
So these are the bots that are actually doing the work for them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I go a little crazy.
No, it's good.
I'm like, AI, give it to me. Okay.
Yeah. No, this is good. You know, one thing I love about talking, like I learn so much every time I talk to you. You just have one of those brilliant minds, like you really do.
Thank you.
But what's really cool about you, especially, is that you have a brilliant mind, but you're also not socially awkward. I guess I can.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you've watched the movie A Brilliant Mind, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But you can be techie without being overly techie, but you can also still be fun and make it all make sense. So I love that. So thank you for being you. Growth or simplicity?
Well, I know I'm just supposed to say one, but like, here's the deal.
You already broke that rule. So do your thing.
You cannot grow without simplicity. So simplicity must come first. And then you grow from that. Like you grow so much faster. I'm going to tell you why. Here's the thing. So I'm on this, like on Monday, I'm starting this 30-day revenue sprint. All of my AI employees and my VAs are all on board and we're all just like ready to go. Right. So it starts on Monday and I have tried to do this before in the past, this same sort of revenue sort of sprint. And I've tried to be like, okay, we're going to post on LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, podcasts, article, email, like kind of rolled out all the things we're going to do. Plus, we're going to make sure we book these calls and send these DMs and post and all the, like, just chaos, right? And we never got anywhere because by day 3, everyone's given up. Everyone's like, I can't do this anymore.
There's no way.
So I didn't grow, right? So that was trying to grow. I was trying to grow. But now it's like, okay, this revenue sprint we're starting on Monday, we're all doing one thing for 30 days. All of us, everyone on my team, that's it. One thing for 30 days. We're all on board. We all know exactly what our swim lane is. And that's so simple. So simple. And so that's why I think that you cannot grow without simplicity.
But how did you decide on the one thing? Because that's sometimes the hardest thing.
Yeah, that is, oh man, it's so hard. I'm in a mastermind with, I would say, people who are like, it's a big YouTube mastermind. Even though I'm not really like active on YouTube, but I was like, oh, I want to be in this mastermind. So I joined the mastermind and these people are amazing. And I was super lucky that I got to come home. We had an event in Toronto and there was one guy who lives in Bellevue here in Washington. And he and I took the same flight home. So I got to spend like a whole day with him. And this guy, he has this awesome business. But my point is, when I was talking to him in this like kind of like phase where I was like, okay, I got to do all the things. He looked at me and he's like, Linnea, he's like, can I be really honest with you? I said, yeah. He was like, I make about 8 figures a year right now. Or I was like, he's like, I'm on track to make 8 figures. He was like, and I can tell you like going from like the mid 6 to the high 6 was a big shift. I had to kind of pare down what I was doing. And he was like, and to get from 6 to 7 was even harder. I had to get even more focused on just the one thing. And from 7 to 8, he's like, it's impossible to scale when you're trying to do too many things. And he was like, and you have shiny object syndrome. Cool. So he's like, you are not going to ever get to where you want to go in this current state. And his advice to me was the best advice ever. It was awesome. That's why I love to be in these rooms. Cause like my friends would never tell me this. They don't know. Right. And
that's right.
And this guy, he's not paid to tell me this. He's like, literally like, I want to help you. And this is what I see. And he's like, I said, well, how do you find the one thing? And he was like, it's going to be the most random thing that you never thought in the world that you already do. He was like, you likely already have done the one thing. You glossed over it. He said, so there's going to come that point. He's like, you're just going to get to this point where it's going to all hit you at once. And you're just going to be like, hey, this is it. And so I don't know how, but what I can tell you is like, for me, it was just like, I kind of listened to that voice. What have I already done? I've already done it. Like I've already found the one thing. I mean, I've been doing this for 10 years, right? So I've already found the one thing. So let me go back and do what I know that I can do, which is look at data and let the data support the things that I did that got me some sort of result, and make a decision based off of data versus making a decision based off of emotion.
Good stuff. Something I think is inspirational, I guess, is that there's a lot of people who are listening to this. They maybe have only been in the business for a couple of years. Some of them have been in the business for 10, 15, 20 years or more. And they're like, I still haven't even figured this stuff out. But I think what's cool is that, like you said, you're 10 years into the business, but you only figured it out, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So you were 8 years in before that light bulb really kind of went off and was like, oh, wait a minute. I'm done working harder to make more. I've already figured out some things. Let me get in the right rooms, right? Let me allow myself to be vulnerable enough to ask questions that I don't know the answers to, and be humble enough to accept coaching and advice and go forward. I love that.
I would say like the thing that is really hard for a lot of people, especially like real estate agents more than anything, is we are in an industry of ego. We are taught, have your photo on everything, have your logo on everything, have your branding on everything. And like, we're just taught it's all about me. We live and thrive off of ego. We reward ego. And it's really hard when you're rewarding ego and you come from an industry where it rewards ego, because your ego is going to get in the way. And ego is actually what got me to burnout, because I was like, oh, I'm getting there. I'm getting all the awards. And then
I'm doing it.
Right? And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, wait a second. It's actually not me. In fact, everyone else is paying a much higher cost than I am. But when it comes to like scaling now, because now I've done that with real estate. Now I've kind of stepped out of real estate by choice or by necessity. But now I'm scaling my coaching business, trying to get my coaching business now to the point where I'm like, oh, okay, now I want the exact same thing happen that I did in my real estate business. I want that to happen in my coaching business. I want to not have to coach. Like I want to coach, but not coach. You know what I mean? I want to do it by choice. I want to coach from stage. And it's the same lessons over and over and over again. And I'm so thankful that I learned them in real estate.
Revenue or profit?
Profit.
Why?
Because as someone who has had money issues her whole life, okay, I mean, I don't think I've told you this story, but when I was 21 years old, I was in so much debt that I filed bankruptcy at 21. And I went out, and right after that, I was able to get a car. Okay. The reason I filed bankruptcy is because I had 5 or 6 payday loans out at one time. Like I got payday loans, then I would get another one to pay that one, to get another one to pay. It was like this vicious cycle. And I had so much debt. I think I filed bankruptcy for like $45,000. Like nothing compared to nothing.
You look back at that now, you're like, what was I doing?
Yeah. I'm like, why did I do that? But right after that, like after you file bankruptcy, everyone is all of a sudden, oh, look, we want to finance you for a new car, right?
Yeah.
So then I got a new car. And then guess what happened to my car? The car got repossessed, and then I got an eviction notice. And so like, as someone who's never had a problem spending money ever, I have no problem spending money. Profit to me is a reward. It shows me that I actually learned the art of spending money, because spending money is an art. It's a privilege. Like not everybody has the ability to spend money. And so when I started realizing, hey, I want to learn how to do it the right way. Let me spend on the right things. Let me like think about my money before I spend it. That's why I think profit is so much better than revenue. Because like you could just have a very flat revenue. I know people who make 6 figures a year, like $100,000, and they're more well off than I am. And so it doesn't have anything to do with
But I also
revenue.
know people who make nearly $900,000 a year and they're broke.
Correct. 100%. It's funny. My dad, when I was 23 or 24, obviously, but I had to borrow money for rent. And it was like I hated asking for help. And my dad was like, honey, whether you make $10,000 or $100,000 a year, he's like, you're always going to be broke if you don't figure out how to manage your money. And that was my dad's advice to me.
There you go, Dad.
Yeah. So anyway, I had to learn the hard way over many, many, many years. I didn't figure it out until I was like 40, to be honest. Like until I got married, I didn't actually figure out my money situation.
And some of us are still figuring this out.
Yeah.
I have a money coach myself. This isn't something that most people were born with, or
No.
nobody was born with it, but most people aren't raised around it. And if you're not raised in a household that really talks about money, discusses it openly, and helps you to understand where it's going and how to set goals and how to save, how to invest, like things like that, just you're going to be self-taught, and you have to decide that it's worth it.
Yep.
And then do it.
Yep.
Yeah. CRM or calendar?
Calendar.
Why?
Because I feel like CRM is where a lot of things go to die unless you automate your CRM. I'm going to be honest. I don't know the last time I actually opened my CRM and started looking through it to see who to call. Unless it's an automation and I get a reminder that's like, hey, you need to call this person. That's the only time I do. Like everything in my CRM is automated. But my calendar is where I live and breathe by my calendar. So it's like, if it's on my calendar, I'm going to make it happen. If it's not on my calendar, I'm going to forget. It's just what's going to happen.
I'm with you. I posted something recently, a couple months ago, and it said, never make plans with someone who doesn't use a calendar.
Yeah.
Have you ever done that before? They're like, yeah, that sounds good for lunch that day. They never wrote it down. They don't use a calendar. You're like, oh my gosh, this is the worst.
Or people who are like, oh no, I'll just remember. I'll just put it on my own calendar. I'm like, no, we're going to put it in the same calendar together. That's how it's going to work right now.
I feel the same way when the server comes to my table and doesn't write my order down. I'm like, could you please? Just,
I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous.
I know you got it. I believe you got it. I believe in you. It would feel so much better if you wrote this down, because when my order comes back and it's wrong,
then I feel bad. I feel like an a-hole. But the thing is, I do think that there's something to be said about when you're in your 20s and being able to remember orders like that. I worked for IHOP in my 20s at college, and I could remember tops of 20. But today, you asked me a question 5 minutes ago. I don't know what the question is you asked me.
I don't know where my keys are right now, actually. So I hear you. More leads or better follow-up?
Better follow-up, for sure. Because you could have 10,000 leads in your database, but if you're not actually doing any follow-up with them, it's just taking up space and taking up energy. You might as well just find the people that are already there. I see this all the time because when people work with me, we do a 30-day cash injection strategy. And so there's 14 different ways that I help them find money in their own database. And every single person within the next 30 days picks up at least 5 figures in GCI in their pipeline.
5 figures? That's good.
Yeah, I'm telling you, every person. I've never had someone who picked up less than $10,000. In GCI. Now, real estate's different because we're not going to close it really in the next 30 days, but it's an active person who's like, hey,
put it in the pipeline.
Yeah, put it in the pipeline. So it's like you can add $10,000 to your pipeline if you just pay attention to your to who's in there, to your database. Just pay attention to who you have to follow up with.
Processes or people?
Well, I think you have to have the right processes so that you can empower and leverage your people even more.
I like that. I would agree with that for sure. Now, I think every entrepreneur wants freedom. I think you would agree with that. But very few actually build for it. So what was the very first system you'd build if you had to start all over again?
I actually think right now in my coaching business is kind of a starting all over again phase. So I'm just going to give you that experience. It has to do with people. It's onboarding. It's onboarding. It's all onboarding because I think onboarding is the most important piece of your business, because I feel like whether you're onboarding an employee, whether you're onboarding a vendor, whether you're onboarding a client, that onboarding phase is the most important phase. It's actually going to plant the seeds for how that entire relationship's going to go. So if you fail in the onboarding, you're going to fail down the line. I've seen it happen time and time and time again. So for me, I would still stick with onboarding.
So now you're doing coaching, which I think is, you crushed it in production. And now you're like, man, I want to help other people because I see where my blind spots were. And I'm seeing a lot of other agents' blind spots. So I really want to help agents. So I'm going to describe 3 businesses. And I want you to tell me the first thing that you would fix in each business. We've got a solo entrepreneur who's booked solid. Calendar is good, but there's no profit in the business. What's going on? What would you fix?
Solid calendar, solo entrepreneur, book solid. They obviously don't have a lead generation problem. They probably don't even have a lead conversion problem if they're booked solid. The very first thing that I would fix would be money system. If they're not having any profit, I would actually put in a system in place that actually helps them look at their money on a regular basis so they know where to spend their money. All
right. Business number 2. You've got a growing team. I don't know how many agents, but a growing team. But the owner still is at a point where they can't take a vacation, or they get nervous if they do take a vacation.
Okay. This is my favorite one. I love this one. Okay, so you have a team. If they're feeling that way that they can't take a vacation, they're probably between 2 and 10 is usually kind of what I find.
The messy middle.
The kind of the messy, like I want to grow but don't want to grow sort of phase. The very first thing that I would install in their business would be a KPI cadence. So what KPIs are we holding people accountable to? First of all, and they might be really good at it, but most people at that level are not good at holding people accountable to KPIs. And the second thing I would install would be an admin. Honestly, a good onboarding system and a training system for an admin. Not locally, I would do a VA for sure, because that would solve their problem right away.
Would the VA be monitoring the systems, or would it be like a team manager that's helping with the production of the team while
monitoring the systems for sure.
Monitoring the systems.
Yeah.
Okay.
In a team like that, like you should be able to have at least a right-hand person. There should be a second in charge, like maybe like a senior.
That's what I was wondering. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. You would have like a second in charge. I had a team of 5 was the maximum team I ever had before. I was like, oh God, can't do this anymore.
That's where I got off the bus as well.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, nope,
5,
I'm good. I'm going to stick to solo and just revenue share. I'm good with that. And I had a second person who was kind of like my second in charge, and that person got to be me for a week. And when I came back, that person was like, oh my God, I don't ever want to
Please take this baby back.
Yeah. Yeah. He was lucky. We had plenty of systems, SOPs, processes, etc. But today that's a little bit different. You know, with AI, you can have a VA easily come in, and as long as you have your skills created, and it's so easy to do that kind of sort of thing now. So simple, I should say, not easy. It's
simple.
hard.
Correct. Mm-hmm. All right, business number 3. Here we go. Mm-hmm. Brand new entrepreneur. They're figuring this thing out, and they are completely overwhelmed, just trying to get some kind of traction, but nothing's actually happening. What are you fixing?
Lead generation. That's a lead generation problem. Like in the very beginning, if you should just literally be trying to get leads and trying to get business. So I would be having them do social media. Yeah.
I mean,
social media.
But they're brand new. They just became an agent. They haven't even been posting on social media. So nobody's even looking at their stuff.
Do you know that I have an agent that just came from Florida to California, and he just got licensed in California. He wasn't really posting on social, and he just decided he was going to start posting on TikTok. And in the first 30 days, he got 3 leads from TikTok, and 2 of them have already closed.
Well, there's that.
So I don't care. That's an excuse.
That's an excuse. Okay. So maybe the platform matters, the consistency matters.
So what I tell people is like, when you come in, if you're brand new to like the real estate industry, you should be doing at least 12 home tours a week. And in those home tours, you should be grabbing content, and you should just be like posting. And then I get well, what if the seller doesn't want you to? Well, guess what? Just don't say anything.
Yeah. Take it down if they take it down.
Complain. You risk the fine. Do what you want. Of course, I'm not telling you to go break the law, of course, you know, or ethics or anything.
Yeah, you guys out there. Well, I know them.
Yeah, but the reality is, like, just figure it out. Like, don't let because it seems like there's always an excuse when I tell people that. But I'm like, dude, you should be doing 12 home tours a week for multiple reasons. A, like, activity breeds activity. So this is what I did. When I was trying to build my business, I had a full-time job, and I didn't want anyone to know I was doing real estate. So I had to I didn't have anybody on work on my social channels, and I literally only had Facebook. Okay. So Facebook was the thing. And I didn't even have my key yet, my key box, because I had to take a test to get it. And didn't have MLS access. But I was like, you know what? I just got my license, so I'm going to do this. And I got my business cards though. So I started going to open houses because I didn't have MLS access. So I looked on Zillow for all the open houses. I went into all the open houses around me. I visited like 5 every day, Saturday and Sunday. And I would post stories on Facebook, and I would just be like, going to an open house today. So excited. Whatever. Right. And I was so bad on video back then, but I did it. And then I would go to the open house, and I would talk to the agent, and I would just totally pretend that I had a buttload of clients. I didn't have any clients. I didn't have anybody, but they were like, I was just like, oh, tell me about the market. Like, what are you seeing in here? What did your seller think? I would just like start to ask that agent about things in real estate, because that taught me what I needed to know. How do other people talk about the market? What do they know? What can I learn from them? And then I would come back home. My husband still makes fun of me to this day. I would sit awkwardly upstairs, and I would hit live on Facebook. Scariest thing you've ever done, right? I didn't have a lot of social media experience. I just hit live on Facebook, and I would be like, 5 things I learned about buying a house today. That's literally what I did. And I did that for 6 months, and I didn't have any business from it, but until 6 months, until actually about 4 months in is when I got my first deal, and that closed 2 months later. But all I did is I just pretended like I was a real estate agent. Weird.
Funny how that works.
And then it just blew up from there.
So where are you still growing today?
Where am I still growing today?
Yeah. Where are you still growing today? Again, you have the coaching business. You have chosen to kind of step out of production for the most part.
Mhm.
What are you working on now?
Well, I'm actually in a process of developing a keynote speech. I just applied for my first TED Talk. I'm like, I need to be on stage, man.
You
I'm
should
like
be on
holed up
stage.
here. I just need to be on stage. So I'm in the process of writing a book. I just applied for my first TED Talk, and I'm actually now in a group of entrepreneurs who are now trying to teach from stage. So that's what I'm doing.
I love that. Well, congratulations. And please let us know when you get selected for that TED Talk. If your
Absolutely.
husband were sitting in this chair, what would he say that you've improved most over the last few years?
My presence, for sure. That's the most important thing to him. The most important thing to him has always been time together. And that's 100% what he would say. He says it all
Yeah,
the time. Yeah.
that's good. Yeah, he can
Mhm.
appreciate that. You worked hard to get there.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
worked
It
hard to
wasn't
get,
easy.
you worked
There's
hard in order to be present and still be
It was a lot of
successful.
identity. It's like a lot of identity shift too. And I think people kind of forget that. Like it's not just a matter of like the actions that you take, but it's actually like the way I think, the way I would talk to myself, and had to completely shift my identity from being this high performing person to being a high performing person who's present. They're two totally different things.
Identity is the key.
Mhm.
All right. I want you to finish this sentence and we're going to go rapid fire. All right.
Okay.
One word, finish the sentence. Ready?
Okay.
Success without freedom is
Useless.
growth without systems is,
Not possible.
it's two words, but I'll go with it. Impossible.
Impossible.
Okay. I'll go with it. Leadership without humility is,
Horrible.
Mm,
Like I could give some pretty well-known examples of leaders without humility right now. And yeah, like
yeah.
horrible.
Yeah. We won't go there, but yes.
Yeah.
The biggest risk entrepreneurs ignore is,
I'm trying to figure out how to word this. I get
what are you
one
thinking?
word. Well, I'm thinking like the biggest risk entrepreneurs ignore is like thinking that they can actually could keep going at the rate they're currently going.
I don't know. Is it blind spots? I think blind spots is
blind
one
spots.
word,
Yeah, I think blind spots would work.
right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
if ink spot
I mean,
is
the
a word,
TV show is one word. Blind spot, the TV show is
we're
one
going to
word.
go with it. Blind spots.
Yep.
All right. The future belongs to people who,
Go after it. Fight for it. I know it's only one word. I can't do one word.
you're crushing this, by the way. Every entrepreneur should stop.
Working.
Okay. Hot take. Lastly, if I could go back 10 years, I would.
Start sooner.
That's good. We're going to take those two words because I
Okay.
like that. Yeah. Hey, I'd love to end here. Imagine that somebody's watching this right now.
Mhm.
They're successful on paper. Like I said, their calendar is full. Their business is growing. But privately, they're exhausted. They're wondering if this is really what like success is supposed to feel like. What's the one thing that you want them to remember long after this conversation is over?
The answer is no. Success is not supposed to feel like that. It doesn't matter what you see. I don't know how many people see this podcast, whatever, but I'm going to say
Yeah.
it like Alex Hormozy's definition of success is not the actual only definition of success. You can wake up at 10 a.m. and stay in bed till 11 a.m. and do whatever you want in the morning and be super successful without having a rigid morning routine. Success comes in all flavors and waves. Like you can do it any way you want. I think success really comes the moment you stop comparing your success to what someone else's success looks like, because it's different for every single person.
As long as it brings you peace,
Mhm.
right? It shouldn't be chaos. You should be striving towards peace. You have to figure out what your true north is, and it shouldn't
Yep.
be chaotic.
Agreed.
All right. Well, before we wrap up, tell everybody about the systems driven CEO. Like, who's it for? What kind of transformation can they expect? Where's the best place to connect with you?
The systems driven CEO is for really that entrepreneur who's real estate agent, service based industry, who's that $250,000 mark and really wants to get to the $500,000 mark or higher, and knows that you've gotten here extremely solely based on hustle alone. And you can't get to the next spot without actually something changing, but you don't know how to change it. You don't know what to change first. And you really don't know. You just know that you want something different. And that's what the Systems Driven CEO is all about, is helping you find the one thing in your life that you can actually change right now that's going to propel you much faster than you ever even thought possible. And you can find me on Instagram, Lynea Carver, or find me in school, the Systems Driven CEO School community.
Yeah. Has that launched officially?
Yeah. You want in?
Please.
I'll give you a link. Yeah,
Come on.
Cool. We have our community launch party on August something or other, second week of August. We actually have a full-on launch party, so I'm pretty excited.
I'm there.
Yeah.
Linnea, thank you. This has been one of those conversations that reminds us why leverage matters. Not because it makes us more money, but because it helps us build lives worth living. Yeah. And that's what you're all about. If today's conversation encouraged or challenged you, I'd love for you to help us reach more entrepreneurs. So please like this episode, subscribe to the Leverage Lounge, and share this with somebody who's working hard but deserves to enjoy what they built. Until next time, remember, don't just build a successful business, build one that's worthy of your life.